But it's not all for the show. Don't make anyone think that there isn't one more fantastic segment to do.
I wonder what there could possibly be.
Which we've missed for like a month.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Oh boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest story ever told by a person who writes on a fan fiction site. Really, not a lot of competition in that category. It is From Under the Bed. And if you'll remember last chapter, I believe it was the ghost of Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Boogeyman needed to stop Stephanie McMahon, the vampire, or maybe get a kid or something.
Yeah.
And of course, to do so, he needed to borrow Sparky Plug's race car.
Oh.
If you'll remember, that was so. We enter this chapter, chapter 11, Dead Man Walking again.
Yes.
With that.
Introduce us, Dishban. That's my favorite part.
The roles playing here, today's play card, we will have the Boogeyman, played by one Joe Negron.
Yes.
The narrator will be played by yours truly, Dishman. And then all others, Mr. Mutant Larry.
I'm multi-talented.
There you go.
That is some multi, certainly.
And if there was ever one chapter that was like a novel, this would be the one.
Yeah, it's pretty long. Long. Boogie Mazin drove the car like it was part of Ho's own body. A muscle car reflecting and flexing Mike, the own massive muscles on Boogie Man's own steel tone body. The fast turn made the tires scream like a newbie wrestler in a figure 4 leg lock. The whine of the engine was like the call of a basheen on a lonely Scottish moor.
What?
A feeling of speed was as intoxicating as any championship win. Boogeyman, a man who had won so many championships in both wrestling and traditional streetcar racing, knew that this race was for a bigger price. With the S. Life of a children.
Wow, this is like... I don't even understand what that was. What you just read. That's amazing. And I'm looking
life
at
of
it.
the children.
I'm looking at it. I don't get it. So, okay.
Okay, me. Slow Dune.
Hacksaw cried.
You're gonna kill us both. You're gonna kill us both.
You're already dread. You're big old galoot of a ghost.
Almost an actually good joke. Boogeyman reminded him.
Hey, that's right.
Said Hacksaw.
Onward. Ho!
For Bella. Hacksaw sat back in his head, arms behind his see-through head. I guess. The more he relaxed, the more he would slowly fade through the passenger seat, and eventually he wound up, sitting in the back set until he saw the winding road to the WWE Town Cemetery coming into view. Hacksaw immediately passed puffed front seat, ion excitement, half the way into the dashboard as he cried,
It is the semi-attery, and it's still dark. Wow, these comments. And it's still dark. Great driving, Boogeyman.
I didn't drive.
Boogeyman said lowly.
I was driven by the thought of those children who need out help.
They slid the car into the parking lot. Boogeyman leaped at the car window as the door was welded shut. Aquin Hacksaw
It's a
phased
Dukes of
through the
Hazzard
dash-
mobile. It's the General Lee, everyone. The doors are welded shut.
Pretty sure they do that in NASCAR, so it actually does make sense. But I understand. It's a general Lee. Aquin Hacksaw phased through the dashboard, windshield, shield, and engine, and they both stood in the front of the car, facing the dark and depressing cemetery.
Nashville cars. But where is McMahon Cernser's grave at? Wow, that is terrible.
That's appalling. Said Boogie Man, looking over the expanse of tombstones and crypts.
Okay. Oh, I knew. No. And ween to his funeral way back when. I remember all my old pals' funerals. Well, except my own. I wonder if everyone had a good time.
It was a blast, I'm sure. Come one lead the way.
Boogeyman scoffed. Why is he scoffing? They charges the cemetery like McCann on a mission. Not capitalized, unfortunately, not actually man on a mission. Though often Boogeyman would trip over a low tombstone that Hacksaw had passed right through. But soon, then he found themselves eon frowned of a giant pillar tombstone of granite and marble. In its laid for case, it read. Oh, Larry, I guess.
I guess.
Sure.
Here lies Vince McMahon Sr. May he live through the WWE. I guess he didn't, did he? Oh. Well, I've done my part, bud,
said Hacksaw.
I guess it's up to you to call up old Vince Sr. Uh-huh.
Boogeyman knew what he had to do. As little as he used his time upon power, he used this gift even less. But this gift, ellipses, or curse, was what was needed now. Now what was needed was to talk to the dead, and talking to the dead was a job few could do. And Boogeyman was on the job, no full stop. He knelt before the grave, Luke grown over with grass, but Booking Ann's powerful arm and huge hands arone, and lunged down into the earth, deep into the ground, that housed the body in the grave, and up, he pulled giant handfuls of dirt, and worms. And quickly and as fearlessly as a person whose courage was forged out of cold steel, off we go. Boogeyman stuffed the handful worm into his mouth, chewing an incantatiog. Wow, he eats the worms for power. A mist grew around them as it was coming as smoke from new starting fire or mist from a smoke. And in that mist, an incorporate figure was forming. But as it sounded, even as Boogeyman's chant finished, both Hacksaw and Boogeyman could see something was wrong. The Gilder? Is that supposed to be Gilder?
I think so.
Giudre was so large, huge, isn't massive, in distinct form, was becoming more and more distinct, a man larger than even Boogeyman. His legs were like the backness of a tree, his arms like Muckel's fence posts, his huge heads had features that were becoming more and more recognizable.
Oh, you kidding me?
Dude, can you do an impression?
I can do this one if you don't want to.
Do this one because
Who disturbs me? Who disturbs the giant who cannot rest in his sleep? Who dares to disturb the cursed spirit of Andre the Giant-y?
the Giant-y!
Oh my god!
Boogeyman murmured, as if any good god would have anything to do with this quarrelsome scene. It was indeed Adonrai standing before them. His huge form was see-through and weightless, but even so, its impressive size was impressive.
Oh my god.
I love this next line. It's amazing considering who's saying it.
A ghost!
Yelled Hacksaw. He charged backward for a minute or two until he realized the two was a spurt. Yes. Still, he approached the gravesite again with caution, comma.
What?
Boogeyman stuttered, in spitio himself.
What are you doing, Hajir? This is the grave capitalized for no reason of Mr. Mamoon Ars. The grave of Mr. Mamoon Ars. No.
Said Andre, his voice deep, so deep that it was the only part of him that had actual physical substance.
True, it is his grave, but it is I who inhabit it. After my death, someone placed me in this cave. Not my own and my soul have been unable to I can't do this anymore. Rest, longing for revenge, up to those who pouch me in grave, not to my own sleep for eternity. I don't even know who this is.
Boogeyman.
Okay. No, McMahon Sr.'s body is not here. Now we will never know where the original WWF belt is. We must find it. It's the only way to find the answers we need.
That's right, I can remember.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Adre's spurt voice boomed out, echoing off the tombstone, like pins from as bowling ball.
What fool did mortal be? Why do you only think Miss McMahon Senior knew who had the original belt, the championship tag team champions? I was there for all of it. I saw all that in WWF. And I know what happened there. I know who holds the belt. The same man who placed... This is really rough. The same man who placed me into this grave, not my own. The man make upon who I will have my revenge. Oh, God. Tell us then, Giant One.
By the way, breaking news, Joey Styles just tweeted that Orton is out of the chamber. So.
Wow. Alberto Del Rio, here we go. Drew McIntyre.
Said Boogeyman.
Maybe.
Maybe. Said Boogeyman, not afraid to stand up to the largest wrestler ever know. What's here? He's alive or dead.
Tell me who has that belt today. That's ha.
Adria laughed the laugh of a mountain.
You think I don't know who you are? The Boogeyman is known for his powers, even on this side of the deadly curtain. I know what you're capable of. Your powers are great. You inherit a gift from a Devil's Mark One, and you can get our things. You will do something for me before I tell you what you know. Ugh. This is rough. My mother was not marked by the devil huge man. What?
Boogeyman cried.
I speak now of your mother, but I know you know magic. Magic, no code. Only be the greatest of Vadu masters. I tell you what, this is the worst thing I've ever done. I tell you now, I will tell you what you want to know. But you must first perform told, that's right. Which will be me cue back to physical form. You may go use your Vadu powers. So again, walk this earth to sneak my revenge.
Sneak my revenge.
Why is it sneak my revenge so many times?
Sneak my revenge.
Boogeyman was towing. Lowercase t. Huh! Giant was right. Boogeyman could raise the dead. But use this ungodly power to Seth even knows what up in the world. But what other choice did he have? What other kuice did the children have? None.
I lost my spot. Children have. I will do as you ask, immense one. But how am I sure you will keep your end of the bargain?
The bargain. The giant's voice was quitter. Almost not a roar, but maybe, just maybe, a growl of pain.
Is this Andre again?
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was not always as this. I was not always a creature, not of time or substance as we. Only controlled by thoughts of revenge. I was once a man, a griot giant of a man as true. But a man with a hurt as big as my huge fist. A heart I loved all who came to see and cheer me. That man is gone, but his honor is still part of me. I desire only revenge upon the one who did this to me. I wish you or no others ill will. You Macquarie be sure before you are the last word, Andre the Giant.
We have a word of Andre. Very badly said. Boogeyman stood still just for a second, seeing past the spirit, past the legend, and seeing what was left of a great man.
And that word,
Boogeyman said,
is all I need.
Hacksaw began to protest, but before he could finish his pleas to Boogeyman not to do so, Boogeyman knelt before the grave. He canted in word that only a room full of people over centuries of mankind have known. His hands gestured wildly, his eyes glowed, and a power as hot as burning as it was cold and vile filled his hands, hand which, delicious, he placed upon the grave. A red glow silled from his hands, covered the grave, then sank into the ground below. Adre's spirit disappeared, the R grew still, and all was silent, was sliant. Boogeyman stood up, staggering, as he was weakened, like the weekend, by suck use of such powers.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't do it.
Hacksaw said, his spirit voice sounding relieved.
I am a Fread.
Boogeyman said, as the rumble began quickly under the earth and began to grow.
I had no choice.
The movement of the ground above the grave almost unnoticeable at first. Then, like an egg cracking from the heat, the earth burst openly, and from the cracked hand, a huge grey hand arose, and from the earth arose the form of a giant levitation, a horrible giant form. And soon, far too soon, the form of the being that was once the largest man in the world stood once more, its imagining large form, horrible in its appearance. Flesh mist in spot on his body and face. The death rags that hung from his form smelled of dirt and were stained with unknown stains. But worst of all, his eyes, his dead yet alive eye, glowed red like the fires of hell.
Now, is this Andre the Giant Monster edition or something?
Yes.
I return to seek revenge upon the one who told me her. That was much better. Wait!
Said Boogeyman.
You said you would help us find the one who has the original WWF World title. And I will.
Now, Andre needs to enunciate so we know who it is, by the way. Boomed the voice of the walking dead giant.
For that man is the same man responsible for me being buried in another man's grave. We will find Hulk Hogan, and I will destroy him. Oh my god, we will find a Hulk Hogan, and I will destroy him.
Guys, Hulk Hogan killed Andre. That's what we're learning today.
God.
Hulk Hogan killed Andre at WrestleMania 3.
Wow. Okay.
Is this a true story?
Yes,
yeah, it's based on a true story, this whole thing.
WWE Town.
Boggy Man.
Oh, good God.
And so that's from Under the Bed for this week. Next time, only a short one. Chapter 12, Bedroom of Doom.
Oh, that's spooky. Oh. Yeah, okay.
Can someone, write the cliff notes to this so I can actually understand what's going on?
Right. We need a wiki on this story. It needs its own wiki page. Somebody get on that right away.